Have you ever stood before a mountain feeling so small, so insignificant, that your heart pounded with fear? In every life, a giant waits. A challenge so immense it seems impossible to overcome. This is a story about a boy who faced such a giant, and it will change the way you see your own. In the valley of Elah, two armies were locked in a stalemate. The Israelites, God's chosen people, were paralyzed with fear. Day after day, a monstrous champion named Goliath would stomp out from the Philistine camp. He was over 9 feet tall, a walking fortress of bronze and iron. His voice boomed across the valley, a thunder of mockery and defiance. "Send me a man to fight," he would roar. "If he kills me, we will be your slaves. But if I kill him, you will be ours." For 40 days, not a single Israelite warrior dared to answer. Their courage had withered. Their faith had faltered. Meanwhile, far from the battlefield, a young shepherd boy named David tended his father's sheep. He wasn't a soldier. He was the youngest of 8 sons, often overlooked, spending his days in the quiet fields. But in that solitude, David learned things most people never do. He learned to trust not in his own strength, but in the strength of his shepherd, the Lord God. He had faced lions and bears to protect his flock, not with armor and sword, but with a simple sling and a deep, unwavering faith. He knew that the same God who delivered him from the paw of the lion would deliver him from anything. His father, Jesse, sent him to the battlefront, not to fight, but to bring food to his older brothers. When David arrived, he heard Goliath's taunts. He saw the terror in the eyes of Israel's strongest men. But David didn't see what they saw. They saw an unbeatable giant. David saw a man defying the armies of the living God. A fire ignited in his soul. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? He asked, his voice ringing with a conviction that startled everyone. His own brothers scoffed at him. The soldiers laughed. Even King Saul, the ruler of Israel, looked at this ruddy, handsome youth and saw only a boy. "You can't fight him," Saul said. "You're just a boy, and he's been a warrior since his youth." But David's response was pure faith. "The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." He wasn't boasting in his own skill. He was declaring his trust in God's power. Seeing his unshakable faith, Saul relented. He tried to dress David in his own royal armor, a heavy bronze helmet, a coat of mail, but it was clunky, unfamiliar. David took it all off. This wasn't his battle to fight in someone else's strength. Instead, he walked to a nearby stream and chose 5 smooth stones. That's it. His shepherd's staff in one hand, his sling in the other, and 5 small stones in his bag. He walked out into the valley to face the giant. Goliath looked down and sneered. He saw a boy with a stick. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" he bellowed, cursing David by his gods. "Come here, and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." But David's voice, though not as loud, carried a power that shook the very foundations of the earth. "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel." David didn't wait. He ran towards the Philistine. As he ran, he reached into his bag, took out a stone and placed it in his sling. He swung it once with all the practice of 1,000 days in the fields and let it fly. The stone whizzed through the air, a tiny missile of faith, and struck Goliath square in the forehead. The giant, the mountain of a man who had terrified an entire nation, crumpled and fell face down on the ground. The battle was over in an instant. The Philistine army, seeing their champion fall, turned and fled. The Israelites, their fear replaced by a surge of courage, roared and chased after them, winning a great victory. This story isn't just about a boy and a giant from long ago. It's your story. What is the Goliath in your life? Is it a fear that paralyzes you? A challenge at work or in your family that seems insurmountable. A feeling of inadequacy that whispers you're not good enough. Look at what David had. Not armor, not a sword, but faith. He used the simple tools God had given him and trusted God for the outcome. You have a sling and stones too. They are your unique gifts, your experiences, your faith. Stop looking at the size of your giant and start looking at the size of your God. The same God who was with David is with you right now. He can turn your greatest weakness into your greatest strength. So step out into your valley, pick up your stones. Run towards your giant, not in your own power, but in the name of the Lord Almighty. Because with God, the impossible becomes possible, and the giants must fall. If this story has inspired you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more messages of faith and encouragement. You are not alone in your battle. Face your giant. Trust your God.